Here we are again. I'm going to keep pushing along. Best channel on YouTube. Me, Abe Zucca, Phoenix AZ. Check out my art at zuccagallery.com. I'm an accomplished writer and painter in downtown Phoenix. I have a gallery named Abe Zucca Gallery at 1301 Grand. You can Google my name, Abe Zucca. My YouTube channel has very small interactions, but I will persist. Let's continue with part 2, Stalin and his closed system of Colossus. His closed systems of Colossus. The ideological Colossus. Doctrine as Atlas. Power's burden, reasons, violence, and the Western lineage of the Leviathan. Power asks the question, what must be done to preserve the state? But the doctrine supplied the answer, so that strategy became inseparable from Scripture. And every crisis became a hermeneutical test in which policy emerged from interpretation rather than observation. Stalin's system was not a resurrection of Tsarism, but a mutation of Western revolutionary modernity. Jacobin will fused with Marxism's eschatology, Blanquist's minority rule fused with bureaucratic rationalism, and the nation-state reconfigured as a laboratory of totalized enlightenment. The idea of socialism in the country did not contradict Marx, so much as reenact the Jacobin discovery that the isolated revolutionary state must become both fortress and furnace, sealing borders, amplifying suspicion, and converting siege into doctrine. The Western revolutionary tradition supplied the blueprint: Rousseau's general will, Robespierre's virtue, Marx's deterministic teleology, Blanquist's conspiratorial vanguard, Saint-Simon's administrative utopia, all condensed into a single metallurgical alloy hardened in Russian conditions. Stalin absorbed Russian estatism only to the extent that it supported Marxist premise that his admiration for Ivan and Peter was not a regression but a selective appropriation, a recognition that their autocratic centralization could be reinterpreted as historical necessity in Marxist terms. The debate between continuity and discontinuity, Tsarism versus Stalinism, is insoluble so long as one compares structure. The only decisive criterion lies in the sovereign mind, his library, his marginalia, his conceptual loyalty, and these reveal a Western revolutionary more than a Russian monarch. The totalitarian reason on enlightenment, equality, community, virtue, sacrifice. Stalinist rationality belongs not to the liberal branch of the Enlightenment, but to the totalitarian twin. The lineage that identifies reason with unity, freedom with sacrifice, equality with homogeneity, and politics with the abolition of particular interests. Talleyrand's fatal bifurcation, liberal reason versus totalitarian reason, finds in Stalin's most monumental incarnation. a community purified of difference, a state consecrated to virtue, and a political theology which dissent becomes an error of ontology rather than opinion. The Marxist-Leninist Party becomes Rousseau's general will incarnate, a subject that cannot err except by misrecognition, a subject that cannot err except by misrecognizing its own essence, a collective intelligence demanding total allegiance, and a community where participation is compulsory and withdrawal impossible. The totalitarian variant of equality is not the sameness of rights, but the sameness of devotion. It asks not that citizens be protected from the state, but that they dissolve themselves into it. An equality of sacrifice, not of freedom. The Bolshevik state reenacted the Jacobin drama on a vaster stage, with modern bureaucracy replacing revolutionary clubs, planned economy replacing sans culte moralism, and Marxist teleology replacing civic virtue. But the structure of reason as unity remained identical. Totalitarian reason is a belief that history has a single correct direction, the people have a single correct will, and the leaders has a single correct interpretation, and thus hermeneutics becomes policing, and policing becomes metaphysics. The arrow messenger of ideology, integrating our prior mythic and Promethean cycles. Stalin is not merely a statesman, but a figure in our Titan cosmology, a Promethean interpreter who believes he carries fire from Marx, shaping the world through postulates. He treats a metaphysical commandments rather than analytical hypotheses. His doctrine functions like postulate processing. To change reality, he makes a new postulate. To correct contradiction, he redefines the axiom. And to discipline the world, he rewrites the conceptual grid through which the world must appear. Like the arrow messenger, Stalin moves between levels, text apparatus, mass translating ideologies downward and extracting obedience upward, converting scripture into policy and policy into cosmology. The lineage flower of ideology blossoms monstrously in his hands. Western revolutionary roots, Russian soil, Marxist nutrients, Jacobin thorns, nationalist petals, an impossible hybrid blooming with both beauty and poison. Atlas appeared not as a suffering titan, but as the doctrinal edifice. Stalin builds the blueprint for carrying the world on the shoulders of a single idea, a metaphysical architecture designed to hold up history itself. The librarian titan, not a single work was not copiously noted. We see him thinking in private. Books are tools of the mind. You did good. Now you know how to treat books. The most important thing is knowledge of Marxism. The bookworm as bloody titan. The library as mirror of the sovereign, reading as method of rule. Every dictator hides behind walls of paper, but Stalin constructed himself from them. A creature whose inner life was not repressed, but typeset, underlined, corrected, marked in pencil and blue crayon, leaving footprints across the centuries, each annotation a fossil of his hermeneutic hunger. His library was neither aesthetic shrine nor collector's cabinet. It was an arsenal of concepts, a war room where histories, classics, treaties, and enemies, pamphlets lay in piles around the T-shaped desk like munitions. Tools to refine doctrine, sharpen suspicion, and fortify the metaphysics of revolution. Where tyrants burned books to consolidate myths, Stalin read them. Where others destroyed archives, he produced them. Where autocrats reduced literacy, he multiplied it, revealing that the totalitarian mind does not fear the book, but seeks to rewrite it from within. The sovereign who died on the couch in his library enacted in death the same axiom he lived by, that power resides in the margins, in the corrections, in the rewrite, in the revoicing of texts, in the autopsy of sentences that might betray a deviation or renewal, or reveal a path to utopia. The act of reading became for Stalin a form of postulate processing. To change the world, one changes interpretive axioms. To adjust mechanisms of history, one adjusts the conceptual hinge. And every shift in doctrine radiates outward like shock waves to the bureaucratic titan body of the Soviet state. Thus, the bookworm becomes the bloody titan, a figure whose intellectual passion superheats into ideological flame, whose annotations incubate terror, whose emotional investments and ideas become the furnace in which nations are reforged and millions consumed. Notes, marks, and inner scripture. Not marginalia, they are the sovereign's involuntary autobiography. The only diary he ever kept, a continuous confession disguised as pencil scratches. Spontaneous reactions reveal more truth than any speech broadcast to the nation. Stalin's annotations from a new genre of scripture, the scriptural machine, it turned inward. The Bible of communism reinscribed by its most devout scribe, a reinvention of hermeneutics where criticism, suspicion, admiration, and exasperation coalesce as a single ideological organ. Every underlining is a judgment, every ha 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 a doctrinal refusal, every exclamation mark a cue for future purges, every marginal question a prompt to intensify class struggle, every emphatic stroke the embryonic form of decree that may one day send thousands of life or death. No doubt only the emotional temperament of conviction. While his rule froze the country in fear, his annotations burned with certitude, revealing the paradox of the icy ruler with the fevered pen. To annotate is to dominate, to seize a text, metabolize it, mark it as territory. For Stalin, the book became a lowland, and the margin became the frontier, and he was forever redrawing borders, conceptual, ideological, geopolitical, with the same small gestures of the wrist. In this Ricorso lineage flower, each annotation is a bud of an ideological lineage, a graft onto Marx, a new petal of orthodoxy, an ongoing floral mutation whose full blooming would be Soviet cosmology in mid-century.